The story begins in 1944, during the height of World War II, when the sound of gunfire echoed across the Pacific. Amid the chaos, we meet an American Marine captain named Ellison. His unit had been ambushed by Japanese soldiers, and in a desperate escape, Ellison ends up alone on a rubber raft, drifting in the open sea for days. Eventually, Ellison spots an island in the distance. He quickly paddles toward it, and upon reaching the shore, he pulls the raft aside and begins searching for help. But all he sees are dense trees, scattered rocks, and silence, until he notices a church in the distance. Approaching the church, he sees a Catholic nun named Angela stepping outside. Startled by his sudden appearance, she freezes. But Ellison reassures her, "Don't be afraid. I'm American. I won't hurt you." He asks her if anyone else lives on the island. Angela quietly replies, "I live alone." Ellison is skeptical, but Angela takes him to her small hideout and offers him food. As they eat, Ellison asks her, "Why are you here all alone?" Angela explains that she had arrived with a priest to rescue elderly clergymen from the Japanese. But by the time they reached the island, the Japanese had already arrived and taken the priest captive. She and the priest decided to hide. Sadly, the priest later fell ill and died. Since then, Angela has survived on her own. "My people probably assumed the Japanese got me too," she says. Ellison shares his own story, how his unit was attacked and how he barely survived to end up here. Exhausted, he soon falls asleep. When he wakes, he finds Angela lighting a candle and praying for guidance. Later, they go out searching for food. Ellison climbs a tree to collect coconuts and fruit for Angela, but he knows they need more protein. Spotting a turtle in the sea, he grabs a rope and wooden pole, climbs into the raft, and Angela joins him. After a struggle, and falling into the water, Ellison finally catches the turtle with Angela's help. Back on the island, Ellison cooks the turtle and tells Angela, "We have everything we need right here. Even if no one comes, we can survive." Angela asks about his family, and he replies that he grew up in an orphanage, lived there for 14 years, and eventually joined the Marines to serve his country. Angela then shares her own past. She too is an orphan. Her deep faith in God led her to become a nun. It gives her purpose, and she believes it's her duty to guide others toward the right path. Despite their differences, Angela, calm and devout, Ellison, skeptical and disciplined, they begin to form a quiet bond. The next morning, they spot a Japanese fighter plane overhead. Alarmed, Ellison grabs Angela and they hide. "If they spot us, they'll kill us," he warns. He tells her they must find better shelter. He's seen a nearby cave that could keep them hidden. Angela agrees, and they both stay inside the cave the entire day. The next morning, they're shaken by the sound of loud explosions. Looking out, they see Japanese planes bombing the island. Angela is terrified and starts praying, while Ellison tries to keep her calm. When the bombing finally stops, they step out of the cave and see the devastation. Everything is in ruins. The house, the church, completely destroyed. Soon after, a group of Japanese soldiers land on the island to set up a meteorological camp. They even destroy the raft Ellison came in. The two rush back into hiding as soldiers patrol the area. Angela wants to surrender, believing the soldiers might spare her as a nun, and that doing so might give Ellison a chance to escape. "We have no food left," she pleads. But Ellison refuses. "It's too risky. They could do anything to you. We stay hidden." That evening, Ellison sneaks out to find food. He heads to the other side of the island to catch fish. But before long, a few Japanese soldiers spot him. As the Japanese soldiers spot Ellison, he quickly drops to the ground and pretends to be dead. His trick works. They don't suspect anything and walk away. After they leave, Ellison catches some fish and returns to the cave, where he shares the meal with Angela. However, Angela hesitates. Since becoming a nun, she had stopped eating meat. But with no other food available, she's forced to try. Unfortunately, the raw fish makes her sick, and she vomits before falling asleep on an empty stomach. Later that night, while Angela sleeps, Ellison sneaks out of the cave. He darkens his face with mud to blend into the shadows and begins observing the Japanese soldiers' movements. Seizing an opportunity, he slips into their camp to steal supplies. As he's stuffing a bag with food, a soldier suddenly appears. Ellison hides silently, unable to escape. With danger all around, he's forced to remain hidden the entire night. By morning, as the soldiers gather outside for training, Ellison quietly sneaks out with his bag and hides. Meanwhile, Angela wakes up and doesn't find him in the cave. Fearing the worst, she breaks down in tears, believing Ellison may have been killed. But soon, Ellison returns, exhausted but alive. Angela runs to him, relieved, but also angry. "You left without telling me," she says. "I was so scared." Ellison apologizes. "I won't do that again," he promises. The next day, he brings her a flower and a comb as a gift. Angela smiles, touched by his gesture. Ellison then gently asks, "Have you ever thought of leaving this life behind? Living a normal life?" Angela reveals that she hasn't taken her final vows yet. Nuns are given 5 years to decide, and she's still not certain. Ellison, now falling for her, secretly hopes she'll choose love instead. Just then, they hear distant noises and discover the Japanese soldiers are leaving the island. Overjoyed, they realize they're finally safe for now. With the supplies left behind in the camp, they no longer have to worry about food or water. Later, Ellison opens up to Angela. He talks about his lonely childhood, the struggles he faced, and how meeting her changed everything. "I want to be happy with you," he says. "I've fallen in love with you. After the war, will you marry me?" Angela is stunned. "I've dedicated my life to God," she replies. "I can't betray that promise." Ellison is heartbroken. "I'm sorry if I hurt you," he says softly. That night, after dinner, Ellison finds a bottle of Japanese liquor. Lost in emotion, he drinks heavily. Drunk, he lashes out, calling Angela's vows meaningless. "We're like Adam and Eve, alone on this island," he says. Angela, deeply hurt, runs out into the pouring rain and collapses in the forest. By morning, Ellison finds her unconscious. Panicked, he carries her back toward the camp, but to his horror, the Japanese soldiers have returned. He rushes her to the cave instead, where her condition worsens. Determined to save her, Ellison sneaks back into the camp, stealing blankets and medicine. When a soldier spots him, Ellison is forced to kill him in self-defense and hides the body. He returns to the cave, changes Angela's wet clothes, gives her the medicine, and for the first time, he prays. When Angela regains consciousness, she quietly asks, "Who changed my clothes?" Ellison gently replies, "I did. I'm sorry. I only wanted to help." He also apologizes for what he said while drunk. Angela forgives him. Just then, loud explosions shake the island. The Japanese have begun bombing again. They've discovered Ellison killed one of their men. Soldiers search the area and reach the cave. One of them shouts, "If anyone is inside, come out now or we'll throw grenades." Angela and Ellison stare at each other, terrified. With death closing in, Angela begins to pray, believing their time has come. But suddenly, more bombing erupts outside, and this time, it's different. Ellison peeks outside and sees planes attacking the Japanese positions. "It's the American Navy," he says with hope. "The U.S. has come." As the bombing continues, Ellison realizes the American troops won't be able to land safely. The Japanese had set up for large cannons across the island. "I have to disable those guns," Ellison tells Angela. "God wants me to protect them." Angela, finally trusting in both Ellison and fate, gives him her blessing. Ellison rushes into battle. Many Japanese soldiers are already dead, but the cannons remain. Dodging fire, he disables the guns one by one, getting wounded in the process. But he never gives up. His courage saves dozens of American lives. As the bombing ends, Angela runs out of the cave and finds Ellison, bleeding and exhausted. She tends to his wounds as he smiles faintly. "It's time for us to part," he says. "Maybe we'll never meet again." Angela, with tears in her eyes, replies, "Even if I can't live my life with you, you'll always be in my heart." Moments later, U.S. Navy forces land on the island and raise their flag. When the captain sees Ellison, he's stunned. "We thought he was dead," he whispers. Ellison is lifted onto a stretcher, and as they carry him away, Angela walks quietly behind him. He never forced his love on her. He respected her choice, and she honored his heart. And with that, the story ends. So that's it. Hope you enjoy the story. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos.